Performing live for the World Cafe, that was Natalie Bergman with Lonely Road. It's a song from her new album, My Home Is Not in This World. I'm Raina Douris. Natalie Bergman, welcome to the World Cafe.
Thank you so much for having me, Raina.
I'm really happy to have you, especially because I know that there was a time after your last album, Mercy, in 2021, when you weren't sure if you were going to write again. Could you tell us what was going on?
After the release of Mercy, we did a lot of touring. We did some extensive touring on that record. And those songs are so emotional because they have so much to do with loss and losing my father. And so it was kind of an exhausting tour because it's just so emotional to sing those songs night after night. And so I thought that I would take a little bit of a break because I didn't really have, I didn't have anything else to write about. You know, I put this body of work together. It was so spiritual and so personal. And so I thought that naturally, you know, you kind of need to rest after putting out a body of work like that. And I took a few years and I met my husband and I had a child. And I think the birth of my child was really what prompted me to start writing again.
Yeah, I know the first song that you wrote for the album is Song for Arthur. I'm going to play a little clip of it. You wrote it for your son. Let's hear that.
Do you give me a reason? Yes, you give me a reason to wake up and sing. I thank you for giving me sweet love again to wake up and sing. I thank you for giving me sweet love again, sweet love.
So that's a bit of Song for Arthur from Natalie Bergman. You had your son between the last album and this one. So how has that changed you creatively?
Having a child is such a gift. I think that it really changes your perspective on the world because, as cliche as this may sound, you actually start to witness things through the eyes of a child. And I feel like I've sort of taken on a more youthful approach to seeing things. And,
How so?
I mean, everything is kind of playful. I look at birds in a new way. I look at trees in a new way. I feel like I'm looking at things for the first time a little bit, just because the awe of a child is so inspiring, and he loves everything. He thinks a leaf is the most miraculous thing, and when you look at it, it really is. You know, I think kids can kind of help you slow down a little bit, take a break from whatever chaos you have going on in your life. But he also just inspired me to write music again because he loves music, and every time I sing, it brings him so much joy. And so I thought, I'm going to write an album, and I hope he likes it.
Does he like it? Has he given his review?
He does. His review is very obvious. It's like he just starts dancing. I put out a few singles, Dance and Gunslinger, and I was doing some music videos for those, and I came up with a line dance. So I was doing the line dance and rehearsing in front of the mirror, and so he knows the whole line dance at this point.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Because he's what, around 2 years old?
Yeah.
That might be the cutest image ever painted on World Cafe. I'm speaking with Natalie Bergman today on World Cafe. You mentioned seeing things in a new way, looking at birds in a different way, looking at trees in a different way. And those things come up in the title track. I want to talk about that track before we hear you play it live. The line, "My home is not in this world," sounds like it could be kind of, it's like a sad or a lonely lyric. But musically, this song feels bright and it feels light. What does that phrase mean to you?
Well, the title of the album is, it's kind of. I hope it can strike a conversation like this one, because I think that it does allude to a sort of lonely world, feeling like you don't belong, and there is a sense of that on the songs and the music. I think every artist kind of is confronted by the fact that they might not feel like they have a place here in this life, and I think that's why musicians form bands. Like we got to find our family, and so we start a rock and roll band, and some people find their homes, in their families or in their friends or in their church, or we find our home in all sorts of places. And there are so many gospel tunes that talk about the idea of home, that their home over yonder. And so I thought, I was listening to a lot of the Carter Family and Johnny Cash and Mahalia Jackson and the Stable Singers, and they all sing about that idea of, when will we actually go to our home?
Right.
Our home is not in this world. And so the album cover, I took an image of myself. I drew a broken circle in the desert. So that is also a nod to will the circle be unbroken?
Right.
So I kind of referenced a little bit of my gospel roots on this album. And I think gospel is a very hopeful message. It's like, it's the good news, that's what a lot of gospel songs are singing about.
I do want to come back to gospel in a little bit later in this interview, but right now let's hear your performance of My Home Is Not in This World. It's Natalie Bergman on World Cafe.
Trees that I love them, open my eyes. Children in the garden, dancing underneath the sunshine, swinging underneath the moonlight. Sing away your sorrow, my little one. My home is not in this world. Whistle, whistle, said the skylark as she flies through the clouds of watercolor blue, shades of purple too. Listen, listen as the wind blows, and she takes to the trees as they sway above us, keeping us company.
You're listening to the World Cafe. I'm Raina Douris, joined by Natalie Bergman. You just heard her performing the title track from her new album, My Home Is Not in This World. You sing about skylarks and trees and gardens and clouds in that song, and I know you grew up with a lot of nature around you. Could you describe for us, maybe paint the picture for us of that woods that you live near and where you would spend your time?
Well, there's so many old oak trees. They're a couple hundred years old, and they bring so much wildlife to the surrounding area. So we have water. We kind of grew up with marshland surrounding us, so there's lots of kind of aquatic bird life, like blue herons and egrets. But then there's also, lots of amphibian life. Like we have the blue spotted salamander, which is super cool, and they're beautiful, and leopard frogs and bullfrogs, and we have tree frogs. I mean, there's so much wildlife.
And all the sounds they make.
Totally. It's definitely, I could make a little field recording album of the sounds out in the woods outside of Chicago. But that's kind of, that's where I'll go a few times a year. My family has a place in the woods, and it's a special place. It's so verdant. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Verdant. It's very green and lush.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a different kind of, the color palette there is different from California. We've got lots of tropical trees in California, and then there's also the sort of desert landscape. But I kind of like the moisture that Chicago has.
Yeah, it's different, but it's like, it's beautiful and it's beautiful in a completely different way. And you can kind of get like lost in it a little bit. And you recorded some of this album, like in that area, in the woods where you grew up. How did that shape the sound of this record, being there?
Well, I started to record. We started in Los Angeles. I was kind of just in my house because I was full-time mother, and so I started just doing songs while my son was taking naps, because you have to squeeze in your work when you can. But then we took a few trips out to Chicago, where my brother just built a new recording studio, and we've actually lost a lot of oak trees in the last few years. So he milled the wood, and so a lot of the studio is built with white oak.
So you like literally recorded the album in the woods,
Yeah.
like inside the woods.
We're in the woods, and we're using trees from our property, and it's nice to be able to sort of repurpose something so magnificent. And they're the trees are getting sick from oak wilt and global warming, and sometimes ants will carry fungus into the trees and makes them sick. But to be able to take a fallen tree and then build a studio out of it, I mean, I'm very impressed by my brother and his abilities as a woodworker.
Yeah, I had no idea he was also a woodworker. I know he co-produced the album and it was in your band Wild Bell. I did not know he was also building things out of logs.
Most people don't, because he kind of escaped into the woods for the last 6 years. It's like right after our dad died, we both recoiled and kind of went into our own places of grief and healing, and he found refuge in the woods.
Yeah, it sounds like a really peaceful place though to be. I did want to ask about his work on the album, because you've worked together lots before, sometimes as a duo and sometimes with him, in this case, he's producing your music. How does that dynamic shift when he's working on something of yours and not on something you're doing together?
Well, I kind of think he likes taking a little bit of he's not taking a backseat, but, for instance, we've been rehearsing these songs for the new album, and the other day he was kind of helping us get set up in the studio, and he was like, I'm so sick of not being in this band. So he joined us for a few of the release shows. He was at Electric Lady with us last night. He flew into New York for that. But it's kind of nice to have a little bit of the separation so that he can be more hands-on as a producer and then continue focusing on his visual work. And he's been working with a lot of cool musicians over the last few years. But we really share a similar sonic palette. So when we're working together, I feel like we don't really need to even talk to each other that much. We just are sort of understanding what our musical desires are, and the soundtracks come alive very easily.
Yeah. My guest today, if you're just joining us, is Natalie Bergman on World Cafe. Let's keep talking about the production. When you're recording, you make an effort to avoid digital production, and you have a kind of a unique tape technique. Could you explain to us what that is?
The tape technique is I like to put 2 Ampex tape machines on top of a lot of the instruments and my voice included. Sometimes it can squash something, so it kind of gets compressed. Some people don't really like that sound, but for whatever reason, I that's what I am drawn to. So I use 2 tape machines on everything. But I do have a craving for analog sound, and I feel like it's gotten a little lost in the last 20 years, and so I want to sort of make a point of recording with with my hands and using things that are instruments, and tape. Tape is so beautiful. It's such a fun material, and it has a sound and a quality that is warm and a little dusty, and I like that.
Do you find there are emotions that are easier to maybe access or express when you're using analog stuff and like tape?
Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of those early recordings that everyone loves, I grew up in Chicago, so I was listening to a lot of blues and soul and Motown records, and all of those early recordings have such a beautiful, warm feeling of, it feels like home when you're listening to them.
Yeah. And there's a certain kind of commitment that comes with doing it on tape.
Oh, totally.
Like, of course you can tape over something, but it's not as easy as like using Pro Tools and just deleting a file and doing it again.
You got to commit.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a good philosophy in life. Once you start something, you got to commit to it. You got to finish it. And I like this sort of the discipline of using tape.
Yeah. And then you also double your vocals. And that's something you've done for a really long time. Why is that an approach you like to take?
That's another just quality that I kind of like listening back to. When I have the singular vocal, which on the song Gunslinger, which I love that recording, I doubled my voice on that. Then when I recorded it here today, and it's just a single me, I always feel like, wait a minute, where's the other me? But that's also special to be able to just strip something back a little bit. And,
Sure.
But I like that technique. I feel like Elliott Smith did that a lot, and the Lejadu sisters, because there's 2 of them. A lot of the time they were singing in unison, and I love that. I love how that sounds.
Yeah.
I don't even need to harmonize. I just like the unison voice together. So
Yeah, like that extra dimension of it.
yeah, it honestly, it feels like it's surround sound, like you're running your voice through a Leslie speaker or something.
Yeah. We're going to hear your live performance of Gunslinger in a second, but I'm going to play a bit of the album version so folks who are listening can hear what we're talking about. So here's a bit of Gunslinger from Natalie Bergman.
My head was spinning with delight. He was a heartbreaking love with diamond eyes. Met in California in my friend's backyard. Fell in love underwater, then he took me to the stars. He had an eye for young women, like to shoot them down like a gunslinger.
So that is a bit of Gunslinger from the album. This is now Natalie Bergman performing the song live. It's Gunslinger on World Cafe.
My head was spinning with delight. He was a heartbreaking lover with diamond eyes. should have played dumb, but I went away. He could ever wonder and he could take me down with his smile. I'm tired of playing the joker now. I'll be a queen, and I'll never let you down. If you take me back, baby, won't you take me back? He was a traveling man with a story to tell. Flew from city to city, collecting tales. He was a dream catcher, suitcase was filled with small treasures, lost in the desert for so long. I picked him up and I dusted him off when another might have left him for dead. He had whiskey on his tongue, he was parched by the sun. I never should have given him a chance. I saw the end coming from the beginning, but without him I'd be nothing at all. I'm just a prisoner of your love. Baby, don't you let me out. You can have a wandering eye, and you can take me down with your smile. I'm tired of playing the joker now. I'll be your resident if you don't let me down. Won't you take me back? Take me back, baby, won't you take me back? Take me back, come on, won't you take me back? Take me back, baby, won't you take me back? Won't you take me back, baby? Ooh, take me back, baby. Take me back, baby. Take me back, baby. Take me back,
Natalie Bergman live for World Cafe, a song called Gunslinger from her new album, My Home Is Not in This World. Natalie Bergman is my guest today. I'm Raina Douris. One of the people who co-wrote that song with you and who plays drums on this album is Homer Steinweiss, who also worked with Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings.
Yes.
Nick Movshan plays bass, also part of the Dap Tones rhythm section. Why were they the right people to bring on for this project?
They're just such incredibly talented musicians, and I got to see Nick last night. He came out to Electric Lady for the release show, and Homer. I mean, they're the best rhythm section on planet Earth, in my opinion. And I thought the last record that I made was super introspective and self-produced, and I didn't really bring in musicians on that album because of the sort of material. I felt like it might need to be recorded on my own. But on this record, I thought it would be fun to invite some people, and I hadn't had the opportunity to work with Nick and Homer for about 12 years. So I just called them, and I actually went to Diamond Mine, their studio in New York, for a few days, and it was fun to see them again.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, especially after doing an album all on your own, it would just feel like so much fun, like a celebration, kind of.
For sure.
Yeah. And you know, we talked earlier about gospel music, and gospel is a thread that runs through both of these both of this album and your last one, Mercy. There are influences, but this album isn't as overtly, I guess, religious as your last album, which had literal lyrics about Jesus and God and things like that. You talk about your faith a lot. What role does it play in your songwriting and creative life?
Well, I think my faith is kind of it's unwavering. So it's there, you know, whether I'm writing music or I'm taking a walk or I'm singing a song. It's there no matter what. But I think it doesn't overtly need to be. It doesn't need to be so literally spoken about on my records. I mean, I was very literal when I was writing Mercy because I felt like my faith was my greatest consolation. And on this album, I really am singing love songs. You know, I'm talking about ex-boyfriends. I'm talking about some gunslingers. I'm talking about losing a friend, you know, a relationship with one of my brothers. There's a lot going on. Singing about my son, my husband. It's a whole world of new stories. And I don't think I can, I don't think I would write another album like Mercy again because it was so specific to that time in my life and to losing my father. Also, like, quite frankly, I get a little freaked out by Christian music.
Really?
And I wouldn't want anybody to be freaked out by me. I mean, in this day and age, it's a little scary to be called a Christian when there are a bunch of Republicans running around using, you know, the Lord's name in the way that they do. It's crazy what our president has done. And he calls himself a Christian, and it's insane to me because he's the antithesis of what Christ stood for.
Yeah. And I mean, in the new album, I think there are people who would, whether they would call themselves religious or not, say that, you know, love is like, it sounds weird to even like, but God is love, or that like love is that sort of presence of a spirituality or something like that. You know, whether they are literally saying that they are religious or not, you can kind of find your way into it that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I think that's what the whole truth of God is. It's like putting love at the center of all that you do and making love sort of the source of your inspiration and how you treat people and how you treat your neighbor. And somewhere we got it incredibly wrong, and we're trying to kick our neighbors out. And there's a lot of sad stuff going on in this country right now, and I think people are using religion as an excuse to do things, and it's really dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. My guest, if you're just joining us, is Natalie Bergman. This is the World Cafe. We have one more song to hear you perform today. We're kind of taking a turn here, but it is a different theme that comes through on this album. There's a song that we heard you play a few minutes ago, Gunslinger. And then there's this next song, Stop Please Don't Go, where there's references to cowboy boots. There are visual references to sort of like the West in the videos for this record. Why is that imagery that you were drawn to this time around?
I mean, that's sort of who I've been my entire life. Like every picture of myself when I'm a child, I'm wearing red cowgirl boots, and I have 2 toads in my hand that I found in the pond or the creek down
It's
the
like
hill.
your version of like having 2 pistols, just
Totally.
2 toads, coming to the duel with 2 toads.
2 toads. I can't believe how many pictures I have. I'm like, how could I possibly have been carrying a frog around every day of my life? But I love them, and I still do. But that song is actually an apology to myself that I never got from a boyfriend. So I wrote it from his perspective.
Stop, please don't go.
Stop, please don't go. So it's kind of the apology that I never got. And so the cowboy boots and the Wurlitzer, those are just sort of tokens that I left behind, you know. And you kind of had to keep my memory through those objects. The Wurlitzer, I had a beautiful Wurlitzer that I never got back.
Really?
I should probably call him after all these years.
Yeah, that's a big thing to not get back. Well, I love that idea of writing an apology to yourself that you never got from somebody else. I feel like after this interview, I'm going to go think about people who owe me an apology and be like, I'm just going to write it down.
I mean, it's like you can forgive them, but, you know, sometimes when you don't get the apology, you're kind of like, well, I might still want it. So maybe I'll just write the song about it, and then that can help me totally get over it.
Must feel kind of nice to play it live.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it. This is Stop, Please Don't Go, Natalie Bergman live for the World Cafe.
Your songs were spread across the floor. Oh, you left your cowboy boots and a letter on the wall. It's the roses in the garden are dying. I miss you so much, but there's no use in crying. I was too proud to beg, but now I'm too sad to give up such a good thing. Stop, please don't go. I wanna love you, stay here. Stop, please don't go. I'm begging on my knees for you, girl. Where did you go that night? I walked around the neighborhood in the dark. I had to send a search party. I found you weeping in the backyard, running around with other women, skinny dipping in the pool after dinner. I was too busy playing. If I could turn back the time, I'd do anything. Yeah, stop, please don't go. I wanna love you, stay here. Stop, please don't go. I'm begging on my knees for you, girl. Stop, please don't go. I wanna love you, stay here. If I could stop at the time, please don't go. I'm begging on my knees for you, girl. I know I was too busy playing. If I could turn back the time, I would do anything. Come back to me, you know I'll be waiting. If I could turn back the time, I would do anything.
Performing live for the World Cafe today, that was Natalie Bergman with Stop, Please Don't Go. It's a song from her latest album, My Home Is Not in This World. Natalie Bergman has been my guest today. It has been so nice talking to you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Raina Douris, back in a moment with more World Cafe.